JavaScript. So if you remember this yesterday's diagram, see, obviously either it is a static or dynamic, we must require HTML. So what is the use of HTML page? To give the structure to define the structure of those contents. Then we require the CSS. What is the use of CSS? To define the style of those contents. That may be color, that may be shape, that may be position. So that will be with the CSS. And then we are going to add third technology, third language, that is JavaScript, which will do the action or which will process the user interaction, user request. So any confusion in these three, HTML, CSS and JavaScript? I hope everyone's role is clear. No any confusion in your mind. Perfect. So let's move ahead then. We have already completed HTML and CSS. Now let's move ahead to the JavaScript. So, so before going in that, what JavaScript can do? See, JavaScript can change HTML contents. Means in some paragraph, what text you have to write, or you want to display some tag, let's say H1 tag. On some condition, you want to change the contents of that H1. That thing we can do using JavaScript. JavaScript can change HTML attribute values. Means suppose color you have set a red, and after clicking on button you want to change that color to the white or green. So color is one attribute. To that values you can change using JavaScript. How to do that? We will just going to see it, but at least understand what we can do with the JavaScript. JavaScript can change the HTML styles. So with the JavaScript code, you can change the CSS styles, whatever defined. You can use the JavaScript to hide some HTML element. Again, HTML element means all HTML tags, all head tags, bold, strong, all form elements, all those tags, table, drop down list, all those can be hidden by the JavaScript, and same time you can show the elements using JavaScript. Okay, so let's move ahead. Again, let me tell you, this is a client-side scripting language used for dynamic web application generation. We just seen this. It allows programming to be performed without server interaction. Please understand this. For this, we don't want any server because this is going to happen at the client side. JavaScript will run by the browser. Okay, so for that server is not required. If I go for in your previous diagram, see, when we are saying this server is a totally different and client sides are different. One thing I would like to clear, one more thing. As a server, we can see, even if this computer and this client computer, if there are, let's say, two computers with me. Okay, so can you tell me which computer I will treat as a server and which as a client? Suppose only two computers are there. So I'm expecting the response from you. If we have two computers, so which computer we will treat as a server and which as the client? Any guess from your side? Yes. Am I audible? Does my voice is okay? So which machine? Suppose A and B, two machines are there. The one which sends the request is a client. Okay, very good. Very first statement. The computer which sends the request is called as client, and the computer which gives the response will call as a server. Fine. From another angle, now I want to ask. From the hardware configuration point of view, how will you differentiate client and server from hardware point of view? This first statement is very correct. Now, on hardware point of view, obviously the computer which is having good processing power, the computer which is having large memory, and the computer which will 24/7 connected to the net, we can treat as a server. Okay, then other, if with a normal configuration we can take those machines as the client. Is it okay? Is it okay? Do you understand it? Yes, great. But this is not enough. But this is not enough because we know that computer is a machine. Computer is a machine. Then two machines cannot talk to each other. Two machines cannot talk to each other without some software. I hope you agree with me. Yes, so we require some software at both the computers, client and server, and that software should make us facility to communicate. The two machines will communicate. Like as you said, client will send the request and server will give the response. But only machines cannot communicate. To do this messaging, we require some software. One you might have learned in previous syllabus is the socket programming, if you remember, socket programming, server socket, client socket. Through that socket, they can pass message to each other, and that is nothing but the communication. Correct? For a web development, server machine and client machines communicate with the help of again the software. At the client side, we need browser. So browser is called as client software. Browser is called as client software. And at the server side, we require a server software. So examples as we discussed in the assignment number 1, that is a Tomcat, Glassfish, IIS server, Apache, many JBoss, many servers are there. So those are the server softwares. So the thing I want to clear here is, see, only hardware will not treat it as a server. In web development, we have to consider that we have to install the server software on one machine, then that machine will become a server, and we have to install the browser on another machine, and that browser will be considered as a client. Give me a quick reply if you understand this. Client and server, only hardware is
Yes.
not sufficient. We require the softwares. Next, now tell me, can we install the both the things on the same machine? Server and server software, that is, let's say Tomcat and browser on the same machine. Yes, we can. At the time of development, it is obvious that you should have server and client on the same machine. So how will you identify? Your browser will work as a client, and your server, Tomcat server, or in Visual Studio Code, we are starting the live server. That is again one web server. So that server should be installed and that server should be running. So even if now we are running our programs, we are running our programs using Visual Studio Code, but if you remember, I'm clicking on the Go Live, I'm clicking on the Go Live, then it is starting the server and also it is starting the browser. Let's see. I hope my Visual Studio Code screen you are able to see. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to click on a Go Live. So please observe what is happening. When I click, it is saying starting. So you can read this message. Server is started at 500. So this is the live server which is started, and also it starts the browser, and in browser it send the request. So this browser which you are seeing on which Hello Script, heading and JavaScript, this browser window is sending the request. Request is sent by putting the URL. So this browser consider as a single separate machine which is sending the request to the server which is at this IP 127.0.0.1. This is the local host, means same machine IP. If our server, this live server, is on another machine, we might have to put here IP address of that machine instead of 127.0.0.1. And again, on which port that server is listening, that port. So this is the information about server address and port, and from that server, what contents we want, sample.html. This is called as context path. Fine. So here actually now I am showing you server and client software on the same, but I hope you will not get confused with this concept. Client is a different software, server is a different software. Only hardware will not sufficient. We require one web server and we require one web client. Web client is a browser, web server is either Tomcat, JBoss, Glassfish, IIS server, Apache server, many options we have, or live server of a Visual Studio Code. I hope there is no any confusion now in the client and server. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Great, great. So the point which we talking about is this was the second. It allows programming to be performed without server interaction. Means when JavaScript runs, JavaScript need not to communicate with the server. JavaScript will run at the client only with the browser only. Okay. Then it can respond to events such as button click. So we can write the code such like after clicks it will respond something. It can validate data before sending out a request, like as I yesterday said, email is correct or not, username and password is inserted or blank or not. So such type of validations we can do using JavaScript. It can give special effects to the Java HTML document, like we see the animation after clicking it is going for the next image, or after 1 second next image, after 1 second next image. So all those special effects we can do using JavaScript programming. It can create cookies. Cookies can be used to store the retrieve the information from the user boundary. Cookies, best example of this is, see, many times when we log in first time, the browser is asking, do you want to save username and password? So that is nothing but the local storage of the browser, which is called as cookies, in which the browser can save the data, username, passwords, like that. Fine. So I hope no any problem with these points. We are going to learn each of these practically. Let's move ahead. So let's go for first simple example, and then we can talk about the next program. So if you find here, are you able to see my sample.html page? Yes.
Yes.
Great. So in
Yes, sir.
sample.html, you will find head is there, end of the head, body is there. So body HTML. For with this you are familiar with. One more tag you will find here, that is a script tag. Script tag. So to include the JavaScript, we must have to use a script tag. Inside the script tag, you can see this is script tag and this is the end. Inside this, you have to write the code, and that is nothing but the JavaScript code. In older versions of JavaScript and browser, JavaScript and browser, to the script tag, we must have to mention the type as text or oblique JavaScript, so that browser understand that the code after this is going to be a JavaScript code. And when there is an end of script, browser understand that is a JavaScript code is over. But now with the modern browsers, you can skip this also. Even if you don't write, then also now scripts are there, browser understand that it will run. But right now for beginning, I am keeping it as it is. Now, line number 5, 6, 7, what I have written is document.write. So document is one JavaScript object. In that there is one write function. I repeat, document is one already built-in JavaScript object. In that, write is the method. Whatever contents we will pass to that method, it will display on a web page. And which web page? The web page on which this code is running. Right now, I have written this code in sample.html. So these 3 lines will run on the same page. So when sample.html page will start visualizing, at that time, as this script will run, and it will print hello JavaScript as a one line. Then second line is in head1 tag, headings 1, head1 tag end, and at the third line bold tag, contents and end of the bold tag. So you may understand that obviously our ultimate aim is to write the page contents, HTML page content. So you can observe this. Normal text is HTML page content, heading tag is HTML page content, bold tag and its body is HTML page content. Correct? Now how to run this? I have already started the browser server. So just I have to write that URL 127.0.0.1:5500, because my server is running on this, and then name of the page sample.html. So I'm going to run it again. And because of this, you can see 5th number line is printing this hello script, 6th number line is printing here heading 1, and 7th number line is printing hello JavaScript. So even though I have not written anything in the body, but here JavaScript is adding these 3 contents inside the body. And as I mentioned, here document is one object, and document means nothing but the HTML document. Here our HTML document is sample.html. Okay, if you check the source code, I'm clicking right, doing the right click, and I am going for a view page source, because see, this is the how HTML is saying accordingly browser display. But what is actually HTML code, that you can view by right click and page source. So see, this much code browser is added. Actually our code is up to this only, correct? This head tag, and then body was blank, but you can see comment here, code injected by live server. So server will inject this code, and at the end, let me take this. Okay, so at the end you can find at the line number 51 end of the script tag and body, fine. And that is writing this. So right now don't concentrate on this how it is happening. We are going to learn this coding, but this code is automatically done by the live server. Now one more thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the live server. Okay, now live server is not on. I'm going to open this same page. Actually I have to go for the path. I have to go for the path of those. So I'm going to sample. Okay, this is my path. Let me try to open it here, and backslash sample.html. So still it is running. Do you agree? Do you understand what I'm saying? Still this page is running. Even though I have not started the server, then also it is running, because we have seen that there is no need of interaction to the server. Why? Because the script code is coming at the client side. That program is already available in the browser. When you send the request first time, it sends the program and the HTML at the client side, and then it runs. So script is already at the client side. Again I will see the page source code. Now you will see that there is nothing extra added. Whatever code we have written in Visual Studio Code, see, this code is as it is. Now here no any server interaction, so whatever your code is coming as it is, and obviously browser is capable of running this script, JavaScript, and browser is running this script and displaying the content as per the mention, like hello JavaScript in normal, heading 1 in H1, and this is hello JavaScript in bold, and that's why we are able to see this. That's why we are able to see this. So please give me reply if you understand how to run the JavaScript code. Yes, give me reply. Tell me